So you want to be an animal communicator. That's what we get to do today. And we're going to wait till some people come on before I jump into content. Yes, we have content. Woohoo! But I wanted to let everybody come in and say hello. Is Leslie Williams here?
Let me check. No.
Joyce Lee Leggett.
Waiting.
Tanya Hoffe.
Oh, Joyce Lee Leggett says hi.
Hello. So as you come on, say where you're from, tell us your name. Well, we'll know your name because it'll show up. Just say hi from wherever you're from.
Leslie Williams says hi.
Hello. Anyone else? I have all my drinks.
Maria Sutrin says hello. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
New Hampshire, right, Maria? Sutrin from New Hampshire, yes. Okay.
That was good.
I know.
I think
I remember because in that immersive, we had like a few people from New Hampshire and it
that's
just,
right.
yeah.
We had 2 people from, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do something kind of fun today with the So You Want to Be an Animal Communicator. I'm gonna talk a lot.
Maine, sorry.
Maine, yeah.
Close.
There was Maine, but I was gonna say there was someone also that week from Maine, that immersive. So there were 2 from New Hampshire and 1 from Maine.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one Kayla Dodds?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah. There is a puppy. Elsa.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. Not that way.
Wow. That's bold. That is.
Oh, my God. I'm seeing, I can picture glasses and coffee cups.
Okay,
And there you go.
Elsa, come. There's a direct route. Hi. Is Ryan Gosling showing?
No.
Okay. I got that from Tanya.
Elaine Livingston says good morning. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning. And Elsa says, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. 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 Hello.
Shelley Messier says hello. Shelley Messier from
Hi,
Ontario, Canada. That was a mouthful.
Okay, what we're gonna do, this is gonna be really fun for the Shelleys and the Marias and the dog lovers. Hey. That's not what we're gonna do. We're not gonna make you talk. That's not animal communication. Anyway. What? She had something in her head. There was a white thing and we were like, what is that? It's sticking out. And Claudia got closer and her eyes are better than mine. And it was a cat nail. Specifically Henry's. Anyway.
All right.
Okay. So we are gonna do So You Want to Be an Animal Communicator. She's like, oh, we have to work now, boring. And it's gonna be very fun. And if you're new to me, yeah, here comes the real pro. Here comes the working dog. If you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, founder of Communication with All Life University, which has programs for, we help people transform the lives of animals and humans through our animal communication, energy healing for animals, nature and wildlife programs. So we've got it all, from beginner to professional and everything in between. So that's what we do, that's who we are. And we have some wildlife trips coming up. I've got dates for Bimini again, and of course Zimbabwe and Botswana, and really places where not a lot of people have been and no one else will be. Like we'll have a very exclusive moment in the park, in those parks. So Lwange and Chobe National Park. So very exciting stuff. The other thing that we have the fall semester coming up, which there's some kind of magical stuff with that, and then there's also there may or may not be a new chakra class. There's also a big thing coming up, and we're gonna have a little VIP. Like, we're gonna pretend this is Macy's, and you guys are gonna be the first to know about some stuff. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, is anyone else here?
People are joining, but they're not saying hi. I need you all to say hi.
Yeah, please say hi and tell us where you're from. No Tanya?
Yeah. Maybe she's here. She just... Okay. She's a licker.
She's a licker. And I'm a no touching, so
Same.
it's just like, no. It's a lick free zone. See, you can invite a dog to lick. Like, I invite her to ear lick, but
Yeah.
anyway, okay.
Oh, there she is. Tanya, I just texted you.
We were like, where? It's Tanya.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, because I can't do it live without Tanya.
Mm-mm.
And that would be like doing an immersive without Tanya.
No, that's a no.
That's a no. She's the immersive queen.
She says, I jumped on as I heard Joan say no, Tanya.
That's funny. Okay, so we're going to do the next 2 Tuesdays. We're doing a part 1 and a part 2 of So You Want to Be an Animal Communicator. And I want to just start out with, I want to get you guys answering questions. So, what do you think it takes to be an animal communicator? Not like skill set, but just of your persona, of your being. What do you think it takes to be an animal communicator? I'd love for you to type in what you think it takes.
Okay, while they're doing that, I need you to fix the mic because it's rubbing up against you. And I don't know if you can, there you go. Okay, so really quick while they're typing in, Elise Kern says hello from Massachusetts. Hi,
Hello.
Elise. Shelly says, I just like hanging out with you ladies. Sorry, I'm not as intense as you all, but I really enjoy you.
Okay, well, yeah. It's funny you say intense, because that's going to come up in a minute. A few minutes, anyway.
Paula Caruba says hello from Brazil.
Hello.
Do Brasil.
And Elise, I quoted you in my newsletter last week, so there you
Yes,
go.
you did.
Yeah. Okay, so what does it take? Is anyone typing in?
Waiting. It takes a minute. Okay, practice, Shelly says.
Practice. What else does it take?
Audrey Johnson says, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Audrey. And I'm asking this because it's surprisingly simple, right? All of this is so simple. All of it. We make it hard. Go ahead, what?
Okay, so Janet, I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce your last name. Yeah. Hello from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hello.
And Maria Sutrin says, confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kale says, getting grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for more people to comment.
And Charlie would know.
Yep.
I mean, Charlie's worked very hard. Charlie has a grounded sense, but she really crafted that.
Janet says heart-centeredness.
Mm-hmm.
Elise Kern says ability to be calm and in touch with where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Claire Trost, hi Claire. She says hello from Scotland.
Hello, Claire.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what, go ahead.
Paula Caruba says calm, confidence, grounding, neutrality practice.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
I have one.
Yeah, what?
Structure.
Structure. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute for sure. So I say being able to get quiet, get neutral, compassion, love, and a sense, and grounding, and a sense of wonder at what is possible. Right? Like sometimes as an animal communicator, you're going to walk into a situation where I go, oh boy, I don't know if this is, and then I go, nope. Right? Like I still have those moments of doubt, of doubt. That would be doubt, right? Like that would be like, I don't know what my brother's doing, but that's exciting. We all had to run off. So I say that because often you don't even know why or how something suddenly worked, right? But it's when we stay in that state of wonder. And I think that, just wondering what's possible. Is anyone writing in?
Yeah, Elaine Livingston says clear mind, and Paula Karuba says self-awareness to discriminate what can be yours and not from the animal.
Right, yeah, and that's the whole neutral piece. And so what are some of the things that we feel like we need to get rid of? And this is really important because it doesn't mean that it has to go away. Like that sense of, and please type in what you would love to get rid of, what you think stands in your way. You can have a doubt. You can even be someone who, you can turn certain aspects. What's going on? Can you not hear me?
Someone's saying they can't hear you very well, but let me just check. Go ahead.
You can turn those doubts into a certain element of discernment.
It's the mic is not picking up.
There's a lot of hay in that.
Yeah. It should be.
Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. The mic is not picking up. Okay. All right. So what are the things for you that stand in your way? What would you want to get rid of if you could? Has anyone typed in?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's go back to when you were talking about how you walk in with your doubts. Charlie says that makes me feel a lot better because I get those moments every time. So do I.
Yeah, if you don't, you're a liar. I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's some part, like, two animals that are fighting. I'll never forget. This was crazy. I used to have people come to my house, right? And I was living in South Florida. I was just getting separated from my ex-husband, and I was breaking up with my rebound boyfriend. It was rough. And I was in this little house in Pompano, cutest little house. And so someone wanted to come over because they had a leash aggressive dog. So I put my dog, Olivia, away. Now, Olivia was, first of all, she was half Border Collie, half quarter German Shepherd, a quarter Rottweiler, and 100% Scorpio. So she was very competitive and she could do everything perfectly. Like if I went to agility, she was going to be the best one. I'm driven. I'm not competitive. She was competitive. So anyway, so I put her in the other room. The woman comes in. I talk to the dog, and I get a sense this dog isn't at all what she's fearing the most, right? That, a lot of dogs just are super exuberant and it scares you. And then when you're saying no, they get defensive, right? All the things. And so I said, well, we can just see if she's aggressive. And I opened the door and I let Olivia in, right? Like for a moment I went, am I insane? But I knew, right? But if I didn't have that discernment, I wouldn't have done it with confidence. It's sort of like that moment of doubt can become discernment and puts you into that next stage. And of course, my true intuition was absolutely correct. They just sat and played, and the woman was blown away. But, those are the sorts of things that, I love a good result on the spot. But a doubt doesn't have to take you down. And that's what happens with this work, is that people start doubting and then they go, I can't do it. I'll just hire an animal communicator. And it's just not true. We have to get into, but there's something more underneath some of this doubt. So I'd love to hear, is anyone typing in?
Yes, so Elaine Livingston says she'd love to get rid of self-doubt. Jennifer Woolwine. Hi, Jennifer. She says self-doubt. Paula Karuba says lack of confidence. Since 1 year ago, I have a block and can't do it. It's a super block.
Next week, we're going to do some tapping. But, well, here's the thing. There's two things that I think are underlying a lot of that doubt. And one of them is there could be imposter syndrome. You know, like, oh, who am I to think I can do this, right? The other thing that could be underlying it is fear of success / fear of failure, which ends up being the same sort of debilitating thing, right?
Because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. We can all do this. This isn't, you know, so it's a lot. So it's looking at the deeper picture, the deeper thing. And again, next week we have a really fun exercise for today, but and with some homework. And then next week we'll really shred it apart because there's more. We'll talk about more advanced stuff. Okay, so then what we really need to develop is confidence. I always say humility. I think humility has to be sitting right next to confidence. Confidence to me is trust with humility, right? But I'm separating them out just so that we get a good idea of what it is that we need. Someone said something earlier, boundaries. We need good boundaries, right? It's so easy. And I didn't really have them until I got married. And it was only because I had somebody else, you know, it's like, if I'm here by myself, I'll go do chores and then go back and do paperwork at 8 o'clock at night and be done. But, you know, I don't have one now, but I did have a husband at one point. That's not popular, right? At night. You've got to, of course, there's Ryan. I've always got Ryan Gosling. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya made me so
Shirtless, not naked.
sure, yes, shirtless. I have something with shirtless, don't I? Anyway, I had a handyman who was shirtless always. Okay, so that boundaries are just absolutely necessary for yourself, for your clients, because it's easy. It's easy with this big, you know, if we're coming into this with our love and our compassion and our this and our that, I want to help everybody. But some people don't want to be helped and they'll suck the life out of you. And they're not, and I'm not blaming them, right? They might not even know they're this way. There's just plenty of reasons for boundaries. Boundaries are important with animals, you know? So the more we look at that little thing, boundaries, the more we get a sense of, I'm going to have these boundaries with my animals, with my family, with my friends, with my lifestyle. And in exchange for that, I have clean opportunities in my work, right? So it's like, you've experienced that, right?
Yes. Boundaries were...
You came in an amoeba, just...
Oh, yeah. No, boundaries were... I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday afternoon who is looking to join the program, and it's that she does animal communication right now, and she's like, I'm so drained all the time. And I said...
I can talk to 15 horses, and I'm like, where's the party?
And I said, trust me, once you establish the boundaries, which is kind of like a side effect of what we do in this program, not only does it help you conserve your energy, but it helps your life overall in every relationship in your life.
You want to come up?
So setting those boundaries, learning to set those boundaries because you want to, how I see it is, I learn to set these boundaries because if I don't have the boundaries, then I am no good to anyone.
It's true.
If I set my boundaries, then I can do the work and still protect my energy and still maintain my sanity.
And one little bit, I tell people all the time, it's not like I don't need like to go talk to the animal for an hour and a half and then spend 2 hours with you to be able to understand what's going on in 1 second. and then to be able to help you understand it and shift it in 1 second, right? That doesn't take a lot of time. That takes an enormous amount of efficiency, and efficiency comes from having boundaries. So there it is, right? So then the other thing that we really want to develop in all of this are what I call a whole bunch of muscles. And I had to kind of make a little list. So the getting quiet and dropping in muscle. And that comes in handy for animal communication, animal medical intuition, energy healing. Like that getting quiet is not just a meditation and dropping in. It's part of the boundaries. And then make no mistake, right? Like it is not just like, I'm going to meditate and talk to the animals. It's like, I'm going to meditate. I'm coming back to Joan. I'm going to get uber neutral, another muscle. And now I'm going to connect with the animal. And then I'm going to come back to this sense of Joan. And then I'm going to tell you what's going on, right? And it's in those moments that I can discern what I'm going to say. I'm going to make it make sense, right? Because a lot of times I'm just writing down so much stuff I have to kind of organize it. So the getting quiet, dropping in muscle, the neutral muscle, the telepathic muscle, of course, the trust muscle, the animal medical intuition muscle, and ultimately, through time, through practice, that creates the confidence muscle. And then confidence becomes that muscle where you just walk into a situation, and because I always say that when people graduate from the big program, they have over 250 encounters with animal communication and energy healing in their field of energy. Even if they don't feel confident, their aura is confident, and they're walking in, and the animals go, right? That's what we want. Like, it's in my field. It's not even me. It's these experiences live in and around my beingness. And that's confidence. There's still humility, right? There's still a sense of, I'm coming in with wonder. I'm not coming in as a know-it-all. So all of these things are really kind of defining the difference between kind of who our people are and other animal communication schools, if you will, or methodologies. I think, it's all great that it's out there, but, this distinguishes who we are. So then the other thing, one of the reasons that this has come up so big is I've been, August, I'm on my staycation. I often come in here and do, bless you, lives. And I just wanted to say that with this, we've been working at a breakneck speed to complete a bunch of the animal mastery program, redo, rewrite, it's gotten a facelift, a boob lift, a butt lift. Are there new kind of lifts? An arm lift. It's gotten a side lift.
It's gone to Pilates.
It's, yeah, yoga, strength training.
Facials, all the things.
Yeah, all the things. Like it's going to look different. And then one of the things, and this is what I was going to say, is that in a couple of weeks, we're just finished putting in new videos, new everything. In a couple of weeks, it's going to be up for sale. And that's one of the things I thought, why not tell people exactly what it takes? So we're going to be selling the digital class half off because it'll be the first time that we're really selling it in that way. And the way it's broken down, and this is what I really want to talk about too, because this really is what makes a good animal communicator that can have results, is having the animal communication being something that confidence muscle is just there. Having the animal medical intuition being, it's maybe the confidence is still in that little wonder place, right? Or that's more humble than trust. but you have the skill set. You've been told over and over that you're accurate. So the other piece of it is that I'm really building out is what I call the practical animal education. And we're going to go through a lot of this in a minute. The other piece that we are building out is animals in transition from end of life midwife to mediumship and everything in between. And here's another secret. I'm about to do a class with Shift Network starting in December, and it's going to be all about transitions, not just end of life. So that's going to be a very cool also thing to look at, because we forget. Well, I'll go into that in a minute. And then last but not least, energy healing for animals. And when I say that, like, walking in with that confidence in your energy field, that's energy healing for animals. Even if you just did, I just want to do animal communication, but you have a number of experiences, right? Like with your energy, you are energy healing. You are that thing. So I always like to say, like, a bunch of people just took the immersive for scalar. At a certain point, it's not that I'm going to, target this energy and harness it and bring it in. It's more that I am that. I'm walking in as this. That starts the healing right there. So when I say that energy healing for animals is a big requirement, it doesn't mean, some people come through as a single track and just do animal communication. They don't feel like they need to do that. You don't need to learn a bunch of modalities, but it's being it, right? And that's the difference. Is anyone commenting?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back. Someone has a question, but let's go all the way back. Okay, so Jennifer Woolwine says our body knows before our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Elise Kearns says not confident about what I feel and not sure how the information will come through.
Well, that's why you need to talk to Claudia about joining some classes, because that's, that for sure is what we do. So Tanya's going to type in outreach at, yeah, okay. And we're going to be offering this digital class that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it's the live classes that make it happen.
Janet A says, definitely imposter. Carolyn Blanchett has a question.
Mm-hmm.
She says, is there a chance that when you start opening the lines, you have so much chatter coming in that, yes, you doubt who you are communicating with?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I always say that there was a time when I started doing this that I would get in the bathtub and I would be so relaxed, and all of a sudden I would hear like all the dead, and I'd be like, I'm naked, I'm in the bathtub, I'm not working, right? So it's like, yeah, you can open that channel all day long, but that goes back to what I'm talking about. Like, I'm going to have boundaries with my animals. I'm going to have boundaries with my family. My brother's staying here. Delightful. I am going to have boundaries with this work. I don't want to be, one of the things I feel like we teach because of boundaries is basically giving this an on-off button. And in having an on-off button, you're honing in on exactly who you're communicating with.
Yeah. Okay. And we should end the live on that, because there you go.
But I have more material.
You do. No, that's it.
It is.
Because I was one of those people that I would get information all day, and it was driving me crazy because I couldn't. It was like an onslaught, and now I can go. Yeah. Oh God. Thank God.
I know. Sometimes when I clap or snap my fingers or do certain things, Penelope has to run and see who it is. I'm like, it's me.
Maria Sutrin says, lately feeling blocked and doubt has been taking me out. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she laughed at Ryan Gosling. Jennifer Woolwine says, boundaries are self-care. Elise Kern says, trust in the information. And Jennifer Woolwine says, yes, our energy is precious. Sandy Galindo says, good morning. Seawall
Good
U
morning.
is the best in every way. Joan Ranquet is amazing in the education, the program, the teaching, and training makes students superstars, and superstars make the difference in the lives of animals, bar none.
Oh, we're going to quote that.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to put that on the, yeah.
And then Jennifer Wilmine says, we are the frequencies. When we're talking about walking in, it already, you are that scalar wave. You are that energy.
Yeah. So then whatever it is you're there to do is in the ethers, and it's going to come out. Even if it's not verbally expressed, but it gets released, gets opened. Okay. So I'm going to tell you real quick about what we're doing. We're creating a VIP situation this next week till the end, till Tuesday. Next Tuesday night.
Tuesday at midnight.
Yeah.
So the 7th. No, wait, what am I saying? The 12th at midnight. Yeah?
Yeah, today's the 5th. So
Yeah.
7 days is 12. Yeah. So what it is it's the digital version, animal communication, animal medical intuition, practical animal education, animals in transition, the midwife to mediumship, and the energy healing for animals. Plus, the bonuses with that is talk to the animals, keeping the memory alive or something. I'm calling it talk to the dead, but it's in there. EFT, introduction to EFT, and scalar wave. So those are some of the bonuses that come with that. There's more. There's a bunch. The practical animal education is all new for those that are in the program. Just you wait, little Miss Charlie. There's more stuff. So people that already have access to this, there's several of you that already have access to this, and it's super cool. I mean, we've been doing videos for a year for this. Some people have, I don't know, Charlie, like if you've opened the Animal Medical Intuition, or Sandy, like go in there. We've got cat gates, right? Cats trotting, horses cantering, dogs trotting and cantering. I mean, like we have all sorts of things in there to be able to understand animal medical intuition. So it's the digital only, but for the VIPs, I'm calling people in this group my VIPs. We're offering that you get to do an immersive. First, we were saying the EFT immersive in September, but you could pick. I decided just now, sorry. You know what I do? Whenever I have an idea, I always end it with let the yelling begin, because they all yell at me because I would give away the farm. But anyway, so yeah, you could do the EFT immersive, or so that you get an opportunity to be in a live thing. And also what I know is coming with it is 3 intros. So that's another bonus. So we've got a pile of bonuses, and we're just sort of putting this out there. It's really going to be up for sale on August 18th. So you don't have to decide this week. You're going to get an opportunity to buy it August 18th also. But you get the free immersive if you do it this week.
And we'll have the link up later today.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about the animal communication again. So let's go through this, and then we'll get to the exercise. So one of the things that I love, I always say that when I was in as an actress, there was always this person that was a triple threat, right? It was somebody that could act, could dance, and could sing. Well, and then later on, that was in New York. When I came to LA, the triple threat became someone who could act, direct, and write, or act, write, and produce, or produce, write, and direct, right? Like when you can do 3 things, you're totally a triple threat. And I would say if you can do animal communication, animal medical intuition, and energy healing, forget about it. You're the triple threat. If you come from a background of training, or you're a veterinarian, or you're a groomer, or you know what I mean? What's the massage? A massage body worker, right? Now you're a quadruple threat, right? If you're coming to it with a few of these things, you're a something. You are something. The dog's wagging her tail. She knows it was good. That Elsa can feel the room. That tail is going to knock over the thing. Anyway, okay, we have fun here. So, all right. So anyway, we know with animal communication, again, getting quiet and dropping in. We're building these muscles, right? And these muscles, the neutral muscle, the trust muscle, the telepathic, the animal medical intuition, and the confidence muscle. And the confidence muscle comes a lot with what we call in the school understanding the essence and favorite things. And that's kind of our secret sauce, if you will, because when I say that the essence and favorite things of an animal solves everything, I'm not kidding. Because I could go to one person's house and see 3 cats and 2 of them are picking on one. One of them might have a kick me sign and the 2 cats can't help themselves, right? I could go to the next house and 1 cat is picking on the 2 cats and that cat just knows that if he's rotten, he can go outside, right? That's his essence, is freedom. The next cat could have been a player with the others and she's tired and she doesn't feel like playing. So the 2 cats that are picking on this one are missing the interaction and the fun, right? Like you can't, when you know the essence, who is this cat? Who are these 2 cats doing this thing? Done. Add in the favorite things. You've now just moved the whole household around. You're getting these 2 cats to interact with this cat in a way that we're all still happy. In each setting, each of those 3 examples I just gave. And that's where you cannot, you just can't, you can't, we can go ahead and say it's a mirror of something going on in me. Yes, and this individual has a very specific reason for being who he is before he even was born or she was born. I'm pointing at Buster Keaton. And they came into the world this way. Was it a perfect match for you? Perhaps. Is it a mirror? Perhaps. And they're still a full-on individual who deserves to be seen for who they are and deserves to have the opportunity, and this again is where we come in with wonder and possibility, to become who they're supposed to be as opposed to this animal that we're mad at a lot. So that's pulling out the essence. And then with the medical intuition, I definitely have a secret sauce with that you have to come here to the farm, Sandy, in June. Just saying. I'd love to have you come for a little touch up. Anyway, what?
Jennifer Woolwine just sent in a comment that made me smile.
What?
She said, I'm a former trauma recovery coach and studied EFT, so I'm really looking forward to taking the animal communication live courses in October. Thanks to my call with Claudia yesterday.
Oh.
And I already want to take all the courses. I found my people. That's the part that made me smile. I found my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that from the moment we got on the phone, Jennifer.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Sandy just smiled at her coming in person.
Yeah, June.
You have to.
June.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk this. I'm going to read because I feel like it's really with the animal medical intuition. We know the essence. So going back to the essence of favorite things, we know the essence can influence the health journey as the application. So when the essence of an animal is suppressed, that can start to affect the health, right? This is big. And then when the essence and favorite things of an animal are enhanced, that animal has the opportunity to live in health, wellness, emotional, and relationship freedom. I know, duh. So this is where, yeah, I'm always excited. And that's at the end of the day, I still wake up and go, wow, this shit works, right? I have an astrologer friend who is the same, like Patricia, right? She'll just be best astrologer on the planet. She'll be in the middle of explaining stuff and she'll just be like, wow, this astrology just blows my mind. We were in the same PhD program together. So it's just funny that when you're that in your thing, 30 years later, I'm still going, wow, I'm still that kid walking in with wonder. And so this is where, when we look at, I studied with Carolyn Mace and Norm Shealy for medical intuition. I already liked the way I did it better, but I went and learned it, like just zipped it and did their thing. It's enhanced who I am as a medical intuitive. It's enhanced who I am as far as understanding chakras, which is why I wrote a little book about it. And the pre-order is still on, and there's plenty of bonuses with that. But Carolyn Mace always said our biology, our biology becomes our biography, and our biography becomes our biology, right? So if an animal isn't living its best life, it's, maybe some other dog is picking on that dog and you don't know how to stop it. That's just a rearrange of energy, right? And now this dog that's being picked on doesn't have to have the kick me sign, doesn't have to keep getting picked on, doesn't have to be in the where eventually the suppression of character creates a suppression of the immune system, right? Or creates allergies, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this way when we understand. So we as practitioners walk in and are able to see this crystal clear within a matter of minutes. That's really powerful. And that's what I feel like all my graduates do. Right, Charlie and Sandy? And then I say that, like, one of my superpowers is definitely working with horses and riders. And it's because I not only understand the gates of the animals, but I understand what happens once the rider gets on and influences that motion. Part of it is because I sit and ride. I work on it almost daily, right? Like I'm in it. You notice my cat limping. It's very subtle. And that's, you start to train your eye. You start to train your ear for hoofbeats, for walk, tails on, toenails on surfaces, right? Like, that's not even. I'm going to go look at that. But ultimately, you start to train through the animal medical intuition. Oh, that right shoulder is inhibiting that full motion, right? But that's where I love to walk into a barn. I was just in a barn a couple weeks ago. I'm going to a barn next week. I know, staycation, Joan, staycation. But I am going to do one barn. Anyway, I love to walk in and be able to say the rider is doing this, this, and this. The trainer's always like, I've been saying that for years. So it's just really fun to be able to help. Because you know how it is. Sometimes you don't listen to your trainer because you've been hearing it over and over. But that neutral third party comes in and goes, yeah, you're leaning way to the left and you're protecting your tailbone, right? Then the rider goes, oh. Anyway, is anyone saying anything?
Sorry. Yeah.
What's going on?
Just how powerful what you said was about the essence. Suppressed essence suppresses the immune system.
If it's not fully engaged. Yeah. 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 And that's what we do, right? We bring out who they are. They get to fully live in what they are, who they are, regardless of. And that's where I go with the harmony in the 8th chakra, right? Like, harmony is a number of individuals expressing at different frequencies. And that's harmony. I get to be me. I can be mad. I can be sad. I can be fun. I can be intense. It's coming up. That little thing somebody said, Shelley said, where she's not as intense as us. It's coming. I can be a lot of things And it doesn't have to affect my household because we've set the thermostat for harmony and they all are in the same boat. They get to be who they are, right? Like Penelope has zero boundaries in your space, but she's got boundaries about her own space. And she expresses it in a way that she might have gotten in trouble if someone else was her person. And I always say, thank you. Let's you and I go in the other room. And I just thank her profusely for giving that growl. Like, thank you for letting us know we pushed too hard. That we are too much pressure. You just take a little time in the bedroom, just shut the door. About an hour later, I let her out. She's happy as can be because she had what she needed. She got to ask for it. So to me, that's a harmonious household. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's not just animals, right?
Yeah, you have kids. They don't want to move. I'm like, I couldn't wait to get out of the house.
Okay, so Jen Gordon says, I pre-ordered the book, looking forward to it.
Yay.
Tanya posted the link to the book. Jennifer Woolwine says, human design has done that for me. Opened my eyes to how much animals absorb and amplify our energy. So powerful.
I'm kind of saying the opposite. I mean, they do. They're not here for us. You know, they are definitely not here. They're here for their own stuff. So I'm really kind of saying the opposite because I feel like so much of what we do is project onto like, hey, this is what I'm getting from this. So they can, but my animals certainly do not. They're not absorbing anything and they're not, thank God. And they're not amplifying anything, right? Like they're definitely being who they are. And because they are being who they are, I get to be who I am. And I don't have to worry about a single thing. I did have a dog that would take stuff on, and I did a bunch of exercises that I've created videos for so that they don't, because them taking on our stuff is part of that essence being suppressed. So,
and Paula Karuba wants to know if there's a Kindle version available.
Yeah.
And Nancy Bishop is here. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. And then I wanted to talk a little bit, and then we'll do the exercise, about what the practical animal education, we have a lot of things in that where it's, safety, ethics, things like that, some meditation for doubts, tapping on doubts. But the other thing that we have in there is really understanding that sometimes, you look at a situation where animal communication, I love to blend the idea that there's animal communication, energy healing, there's holistic, when you've got a behavioral or a health situation, you've found out the animal communication, you've done the animal medical intuition. Okay, so he's biting, he doesn't have a hit to the head. It's not a head injury, it's not the thyroid, still biting people. And then you go to energy healing for animals. Okay, it's not solved through EFT. You've gone to training. Sometimes it comes down to management. And so in the practical animal education, I really go into the whole thing of how do we know when this is? And it's a really subtle thing. And I want people to understand that sometimes it comes down to management. And if it is simply management, like I'm having to keep 2 dogs in separate rooms, how do they still live their best lives, right? And that brings animal communication, energy healing, right? Like we may be in management and we can still have them fully express their essence. So that's it. So we're going to run out of time. I can't even go through all the stuff. We might have to add a day. But so anything else? Because I want to go to exercise.
There's a long post from Sandy about an experience she had with the mayor with essence and favorite things.
Yeah.
Okay, she said, what you said about the importance of essence and favorite things, I just went to a barn to read a 9-year-old mare who is, quote unquote, acting out at random times and not a safe riding partner. I learned from the mare that a terrifying experience happened when she was very, very young. She She shared images of a herd of horses running in panic. She was in panic, and there was an image of her mother. Her favorite thing, safety and apples, LOL. Turns out the mare was part of a wild herd who was in the middle of a huge fire that broke out in hundreds of acres, and there was a roundup of the horses that was done. Also, a neighboring property worked a slaughter auction, so she experienced the terrors of that too. She had lost her mother when she was very young, very young. We did an EFT session, and the next day her human said that the mare is taller. Also, her essence showed a loving, silly nature underneath the exterior. That next day, the mare was acting spicy and silly and tossing her head. Medical intuition showed a sore right forefoot in the frog area. It turns out a rock was embedded. Looking forward to seeing this mare shed off the emotional baggage and be who she really is. All with a bunch of L's because of Seawall View.
Oh my God, that is so profound. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, she's a crier. So am I. But she's going to cry for both of us today because I'm going to keep going. All right. So what I would love to do is for us to take a moment. I want you to write down, and you do this too, your own essence. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to take a moment because I wrote down, Shelley, I wrote down intense for mine. I know I'm fun, I'm funny, I'm serious, I'm compassionate, I'm intense, I can be silly, I'm driven. Like, these are all things that are part of my essence. So I want you to just take a moment, close your eyes, get really quiet, and write down at least 5 or 6 things that would describe your essence, who you are, how you show up. Another part of my essence is I crave adventure. I'm adventurous. And now let's take a moment and write down your favorite things. And you can lump all animals into one so that you've got 4 or 5 favorite things. Like, I know horses, dogs, cats, elephants, dolphins, lions, animals. So just go ahead, bears, penguins. Anyway, it can be animals, other favorite things. Travel, riding, reading. All right, so go ahead and type in what you feel comfortable sharing about your essence, and what you type in what you're comfortable with sharing about your favorite things. And it's funny because you're going to start to see what it, like for me, I'm adventurous and meditative, right? Like, these are my favorite things and my essence. And this is really powerful because you start to see who you are, how you show up, what your superpower in this work might be, practicing getting descriptive, which is really important because, I love a day when I'm just like doing 5, 6 sessions because I'm so meditative. I'm just like super quiet. It's like kind of a slipper day, even though I don't wear slippers. And yet I have to be very descriptive. I have to be articulate. So, in order to explain, and that's why I love going on trips with like dolphins, because I can just be quiet for the day and in wonder. But those are all my favorite things, and that's why this work is so perfect for me.
I'm writing it down.
What's your essence?
Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. I put, I'm kind, I'm creative, I'm spazzy. I can be funny, I can be serious, I can be thoughtful, independent, strong, I can be isolated, like I can isolate. And I'm in my head a lot, contemplative. And my favorites are animals food. Not the same thing, right?
We organize lunch every
Yeah.
week on Sunday.
Photography,
Mm.
nature, tree. I know these are all part of nature, but specifically trees, ocean, mountains, water, fire, and cozy environments. Is that?
Yeah, that's pretty great. Has anyone typed in?
Okay. They're coming. I could see. Okay, here we go. I'm waiting for it to populate, Jennifer Woolwine says, it sounds like this work helps our animals to not take in our energy versus
Totally.
people who don't do this work and are constantly
Totally. And the projections are dangerous because we do it then on everything. Then we can't see clearly when we go to help someone, right? Like, because if I'm not doing this work and getting neutral and allowing my animals to be who they are, I could go to someone's house and say, oh, that little limp with the cat, that looks just like mine. It must be this, right? And then I'm not. So it's the constant wonder. That's why wonder was one of the first things I said about what's required for this work. Like, I wonder why my cat is limping suddenly. I wonder why this cat is limping. Two different things, but the more we can see and discern and be neutral in our own household, the more we can. I mean, everyone in my household thinks they are the favorite. Every one of them. And that's ideal.
I learned that from you. Mine do too.
Yeah.
And I do whisper it to them like you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maria Sutrin says, I just got blind for all of it. No wonder I can't connect with animals.
This is a great exercise that I thought of at 9 o'clock last night. No, I thought of it earlier.
Sandy says, empathic, goofy. Whoa.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, we know you. Fun, caring, perfectionist, good listener. Nancy Bishop says, favorites are being in the country, dogs, nature, cold air, mountains, reading, walking, trails with dogs.
Yeah.
Jennifer Woolwine says, multi-passionate, empathic, empowering, my farm, sunset, sarcastic, love to cuss. Oh, you are so in the right.
Yes, this is a cussing.
Animal communicators.
Yeah, I am the cussing animal communicator. My dogs actually thought their last name was God damn it.
Sandy's favorite things. Animal communication, music, creativity, working with animals. Elise Kearns, essence, compassionate, tolerant, creative. Favorite things, animals, reading, creating, and contemplating. Nancy Bishop says, laughing as a sport. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
totally.
God,
all day long.
Elaine Livingston, nature, animals, learning new things, small groups of people. Tanya says, funny, quirky, shy, stubborn, up for and willing to try anything, bossy, easygoing, investigative, photography, reading, learning, swears a lot, nature, travel.
Wow.
Dead on. Leslie Williams says, quiet, funny, gentle, loving, empathic, animals, reading, being in nature, and coffee. Oh my God.
Coffee.
Oh my God, yeah. I can't without it.
Yeah.
That's the one addiction.
So we have to close this, but I just wanted to say, our little VIP offer holds. If you have questions about it, you can write to Outreach. We're going to put it's our Animal Mastery Program, digital, packaged in this way for the first time ever. So we always do a half off when we release something new, and that will include all the bonuses. And for this week only, because it's a pre-sale, it won't be available to the 18th. We're also going to include intro to animal communication and an immersive of your choice. But we'd love to have you at the EFT. So that's it. And your assignment, you knew there was an assignment when I have these themes. Your assignment is to ask 3 friends what they think your essence and favorite things are and see how closely, like I love that Shelley said intense, like right off the bat, because this is building our intuition, our ability to see neutrally, with neutrality.
Yes.
Yeah, that. And it's also building our ability to create description. And description is everything with lost animals, animals in transition, animal medical intuition, being able to describe like how something feels versus its pain. So description becomes a weirdly needed, necessary part of this. And so it'll be fun for you you're going to ask some mommy group people, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe a kid,
One-
mommy group, and a
And
husband.
a husband. Oh God.
Yeah. This is going to be fun. So you've got, the week you can, Tanya will put some prompts in this week and see if anyone, what your score is, that like, oh, it was really close. Everybody sees me as this also. And it's fun too, because it helps, like, Claudia and I are getting headshots this week. So your description is going to help you with your headshots, right? What you're going to wear, how it's going to feel. So eventually, your essence becomes your brand, but that's another topic. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next week. We're going to go even deeper because that's what I do. All right. Thank you. See you next week.
Bye everyone.